She gets one knee, he's got another knee there.
There is a chance that Tulsi's not just working for the United States of America, but I digress. So,
oh, wait a minute.
What does that mean?
That's
no,
a hell of an allegation.
That's not just an allegation. I firmly believe that.
Message is coming now.
No, here, I know. Watch the bots come on Twitter now. I firmly believe that Tulsi Gabbard stands on that stage is the antithesis to what the other 11 individuals stand for, especially when it comes to issues such as foreign policy. There is no question. Yeah. There is no question that Tulsi Gabbard, of all the 12, is a puppet for the Russian government.
Whoa.
I mean,
that was strong.
How is there no question?
Well, I think that you look at her relationships, doing the bidding, her relationships and affection for people like Bashar al-Assad, her admiring somebody who we know to be a war criminal, propping them up. I think that those are questions that are going to have to be answered.
Obviously, with Syria in the news, obviously this will come up tonight. I mean, I don't know that it will be framed the way you are.
I don't think the moderators will frame it as
I
such.
don't either. But
that was very strong.
But Syria will. And so what are you watching for? And what else will happen at this debate? Let's bring in April Ryan, CNN political analyst, Bakari Sellers, CNN commentator. He has endorsed Kamala Harris, and Angela Rye, CNN political commentator. So, I mean, the Hunter Biden thing just came out, so we will address it right now. Do you think, Angela, that this is something that Democratic voters want to hear more about? Do you think that they will hold this against Joe Biden? What did you think of his explanation for why he did this?
I think that this was a foul for the Joe Biden camp. This interview should not have happened, and I think is ill-advised. However,
shouldn't have happened today, or should never have happened.
I don't see the purpose, and the reason I'm saying that is I just believe that there are so many other more pressing issues. For starters, to be fair, Hunter Biden is not Joe Biden. And if we're to use the same standard that is applied to Donald Trump, albeit not fair, not transparent, not authentic, and not ethical, if we're to use the same standard, this shouldn't even come into question. Donald Trump directly benefits from his presidency financially. We know there are tons of ethical challenges, tons of conflicts of interest. So I'm over this. I would rather be talking about impeachment and the debate tonight and the candidates and the issues than this.
Bakari Sellers, you are working with one of the candidates. Is she Kamala Harris over this?
What was that?
He was working with.
You're supporting Kamala Harris. It's a fair thing. You're on the campaign.
I think that all of the candidates, for the most part, have already spoken out and leave Joe Biden alone is something you hear the mantra over and over again. And I think many of the candidates really want to move beyond this. The problem, though, is that Hunter Biden did an interview that's released today, the morning of the debate. Right. Nobody up here wants to be talking about Hunter Biden. I've been getting hell since our 6:30 morning hour when I say that, he should not have worked there. Why do I say that? Because he literally said that. It was poor judgment in doing that. And we should not be having this discussion today. This is an opportunity. And the people who have to hate this the most are Amy Klobuchar, Beto O'Rourke, Julian Castro, and Tulsi Gabbard, those 4 people who need to actually have a breakout moment tonight.
It's more than 4 that need to have.
Well, I'm just saying who don't stand a chance of making it to the next debate. But
let me just add, I just want to point out one thing, and that the Biden campaign was aware, we are told, that Hunter Biden was doing this, but this was not orchestrated, we are told, by the Biden campaign, which might explain.
It should have been, though.
Well,
there needs to be better
coordination.
That's
a different story, but this was something that Hunter Biden apparently wanted to do on his own.
Well, Hunter shouldn't get to do everything he wants
here's the problem. Here's the problem. They wanted to get ahead of the story before tonight because they realized that the candidates were going to once again see blood in the water with Joe Biden and go after him. So in efforts to get ahead of it, you made it worse. You made the problem worse. Yeah. You start stirring a mess, the mess is going to smear you. So there is an issue tonight beyond the impeachment inquiry, beyond Bernie Sanders, and is he fit to keep going and be president? Now Hunter Biden and this connection with Ukraine, as we're looking at the president in nepotism, now you got Joe Biden once again going into another debate with blood in the water. And here's the issue. What candidate is going to be bold enough to go after Joe Biden? Because we've seen candidates, every time they go after Joe Biden, their numbers slip. So let's see who's going to be the one who gets out there and gets bold, gets mavericky, as Sarah Palin said.
Tulsi going to be wearing white again. Coming in on a white stallion, Tulsi with the knee.
But he's got another knee. She gets one knee, he's got another knee there.
There is a slightly there is a chance that Tulsi's not just working for the United States of America, but I digress. So,
Oh, wait a minute.
What does that mean?
That's
no,
a
I
hell of
firmly,
an allegation,
that's not just an allegation. I firmly believe that.
Message is coming now.
No, here I know. Watch the bots come on Twitter now. I firmly believe that Tulsi Gabbard stands on that stage is the antithesis to what the other 11 individuals stand for, especially when it comes to issues such as foreign policy. There is no question.
Yeah.
There is no question that Tulsi Gabbard, of all the 12, is a puppet for the Russian government.
Whoa.
I mean,
That was strong.
how is there no question?
Well, I think that you look at her relationships, doing the bidding, her relationships and affection for people like Bashar al-Assad, her admiring somebody who we know to be a war criminal, propping them up. I think that those are questions that are going to have to be answered.
Obviously, with Syria in the news, obviously this will come up tonight. I mean, I don't know that it will be framed the way you are.
I don't think the moderators will frame it as
I
such.
don't either.
That was very strong.
But Syria will. And so what are you watching for? You really think that some of the outer tier candidates are going to go directly at Biden? What about Elizabeth Warren?
They definitely have to go at Elizabeth Warren if their camps advise them properly.
Not on the debate stage, but go
yeah,
on.
Jesus, I hope he makes it somewhere.
He's in the building somewhere to keep it calm.
cameo.
But I would say
Peace be still.
that one of the candidates I am watching for tonight it's the first time on the debate stage for Tom Steyer.
Correct.
And what a time for him, because he has been calling for impeachment on this very network with commercials for a very long time. And to the point where I would see him and I would be like, this commercial's getting on my nerves, but I stand with you, brother. So I cannot wait to see what Tom Steyer does. Like, I told y'all so, and I got some other things for you all to pay attention to. That's why I need to be your commander-in-chief. I think he might have a good little moment tonight.
And the Beto, the undercurrent of the...
You know, it's Beto. I did a podcast with him and was promptly corrected. It's Beto.
Okay, the Beto Buttigieg, I got that right. The Beto Buttigieg little war of words is going on, because
Yeah,
what we're
it is.
noticing, though, and what we're noticing is that I think a lot of these candidates are getting tired of the kind of nitpicking that Buttigieg has been doing at their heels. And I think that the interview that Pete Buttigieg did with Peter Hamby recently, when he was talking about the small donors of Elizabeth Warren. So I'm looking forward to see Beto and Buttigieg go at it a little bit. And listen, Elizabeth Warren hasn't had any fire. None whatsoever. And I know that
But she's 1-2, depending on the poll.
I know that candidates and Democrats are saying, let's stay away from a quote-unquote circular firing squad. But I think tonight she's going to get some fire.
Yeah,
On what?
No question. On her being too liberal, I think there were poll numbers that you all showed earlier on the network that says she has a ton of liberal support. There are Democrats right now who support Biden, and they're saying it's for practical reasons, right? He can win. He's the most electable.
I don't know with those gaffes, and that's one of the things we have to watch out for tonight.
This is the moderate Dems talking, right? There's no way Elizabeth Warren can win. She's too to the left. It's too much. Anyway.
And there's also sexism that's built into this as well.
Absolutely.
But okay, there's also sexism for the female candidates. But let me say this: you are absolutely right. There is campaigning fatigue. I mean, as a reporter, I'm fatigued. All of us are fatigued. We need to just sit back and take a yeah.
I'm raring to go.
I'm fatigued. We're fatigued because it's like every day
John he's fired up and ready to go today.
Okay, well, you're fired up and ready to go. But there are a lot of people out here that are like, oh my God, I just wish it'll be over. But at the end of the day, my eye is going to be on the underdog. And the underdog is the one who is under 5 percentage points. That's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. They have to come up, show up, and show out today to move on. Like Cory Booker, who was begging for $1.7 million. He got over $2 million to stay in the game. He realizes that he has to show up to get people to come to him. Also, Buttigieg, also Kamala Harris, your candidate. Also, Klobuchar. I mean, all of them, you know.
I'm not. No, I'm just, she's going to do well. Can we go back to Elizabeth Warren, though, real quick? Because I think there are two questions that Elizabeth Warren has to answer.
You better stay on message, Bakari Sellers.
I'm trying to get back. The two questions that Elizabeth Warren has to answer. She has a plan for everything except healthcare. She's the only one, only of the top tier candidates who has not released a healthcare plan.
She has Bernie Sanders' healthcare plan.
When you ask her, what is your healthcare plan? I'm with Bernie, right? And I think that people want to flesh that out. I think her friends like Harry Reid recently said that she's going to back off Medicare for all. The question is she going to be able to pass that litmus test that's set forth by the left? That's first. And the second thing is, all of these plans do not take into account Mitch McConnell. All of these plans that she has, the wealth tax, et cetera, do not take into account Mitch McConnell. So there are people like Pete Buttigieg, the Beto O'Rourke's, the Steve Bullocks, who are going to ask the question, what happens if this plan does not pass? How do you play for all of this?
But I want to get back into something that we have not talked about at this panel this morning, Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders and his health, that is a real issue. And people want to dismiss it. You have to understand he is 78 years old. He's had a heart attack. And when you become a presidential nominee, you pick someone, a second person on that ticket, in case you cannot fulfill your duties. So the questions, and physical fitness is a real issue. And that is a question. I want to see how the candidates handle that. And I'm not saying this to down Bernie Sanders, but this is a real issue.
It just happened, right? It's not like he had a heart attack 2 years ago.
This is a real issue. This is a very real issue.
It's not just an issue for him. It's also going to be an issue for Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren and other candidates.
And President Trump.
And President Trump.
I mean,
they're all
so you're talking age. We're talking age now.
We're talking about heart attacks.
We're talking about.
No, but I'm saying that everybody's now going to have to. And this is something that we haven't talked about as Democrats in our party. We haven't talked about the fact that Bernie Sanders.
Let's talk about health, not talk about age, because I don't want to get into the age thing. Because when you say Trump, when you say Bernie Sanders, when you say Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden, we're talking age. I'm talking health, because any of the candidates could have, God forbid, anything happen.
I agree with that.
So let's look at it. The age thing is going to be there, but it's not necessarily age. It's the message. It's the message.
Yeah, and people will definitely be looking at Bernie Sanders.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, he says that he's on the mend. His campaign
He's
says
on the mend,
that
but he's not mended.
Who knows?
Let me
just
just say something, and people know that I've been a Bernie Sanders antagonist for a very long period of time. But there has been no harder campaigner.
He is going into
There's been no harder campaigner of all the Democrats for the past two cycles
rigorous,
than Bernie
It's about
Sanders.
stamina, and it's about his health as well. You've got to take care of your health as you're trying to take care of this. These presidents age. These presidents age when they're on the campaign trail and when they're in Oval
Barack
Office.
Obama, that hair turn.
Bernie Sanders' hair will stay the same if he's elected.
But no. He'll get it. There's got a little hairspray on it now. He's got a little hairspray on it now. It stays down a little bit now. He's not the nutty professor.
You
anymore.
really can never see where these panels are going to go, is my feeling.
That's why you love us.
We know you're all as energized as us for tonight's debate.
I'm fatigued.